Hey everybody, Rose Matter here, and welcome to part 9 of my Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Let's Play. In the last episode, thanks to Susato once again, MVP, I will always say that, she discovered a old law where we can talk to the jurors, get them to explain their reasoning for their verdicts. And thanks to that, we managed to turn things around, get people back on our side again, and continue with the trial when it seemed like all hope was lost. But we ended with McGilded talking about a kid that was also in the carriage with him, and then there was a smoke bomb, and it seems like, I don't know if he's trying to make a run for it or what, but it does not look good from our point of view. The person that we're trying to defend is acting very suspicious, holding information from us, and maybe trying to make an escape, so we're going to continue on and see if he can explain himself and what's going on with all that, and what's up with this kid. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Mrs. Otto, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of things ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Okay, thankfully it wasn't McGilded, because that would be very hard to try to explain as the act of a innocent person. Flee the courtroom? Why? I'm guessing it was that kid. Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. Oh boy, when I think of a young girl, I thought she was maybe going to be like 8 or 9, like it was said, like, oh, the little rapscallion. I thought it was just going to be like a little, little kid. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing there at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, so she must have snuck on board? Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. And I was thinking about if someone was able to sneak in and out of the carriage, if there was some sort of like emergency opening door. Maybe she's just a really slight girl. But I was thinking like, okay, if it's a kid, that makes sense. You know, if they're able to slip out of like a little window or something. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Either way, we'll get our answers soon. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of this trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Yes. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord? I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier? It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, the sort typically employed by the army, and how this girl got a hold of one. Good gracious, the army. What in the devil's name? That's assuming the girl was the one who threw the smoke grenade, but Yep, there. It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. There seems to be more to this girl. You know, the fact she was able to get, either she made one herself, which shows she's very intelligent, or she got a grenade from the army. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl. Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? Ah, if I may, my lord. Oh, can she not speak? Yes, Mr. McGilded? I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. It seems like he's trying to protect this girl. Maybe they know each other or something, and he was trying to, like, keep her out of this. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? 'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. And I apologize if you can hear some noise in the background. Of course, as always, they're doing construction in my building, so this is going to be happening for a little while, unfortunately. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. When you first got on the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were. I see. Aye, and that's why I took the backside as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable, and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Alright, loud thud and a scream woke me up with a start. A loud thud, you say, and a scream. Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone fallen to the ground, that sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone, but at the same moment, you did hear a scream. Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes. Alright, fella collapsed on the floor, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. You sat him up. The victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Ara, Lord Van Zeeks. Now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well, no, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So, I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intended to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Alright, then I turned to find out where the scream had come from. Hold it! I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? It's pretty obvious. He just means, like, literally, if he's just looking straight across from himself, he only sees Mason. Well, now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. What? Whoa, okay. Good gracious. Under your backside. And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage. Ah, okay. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm guessing I'd have to go inside and then check it out from there. But I still want to see if there is a way that there could be, like, an escape. There's a cubby hole, but is there also, like, an escape hatch? Is there any way you could open up these windows? The skylight, maybe? The seat has a handle, it seems. I can't believe I missed this the first time. This is a storage compartment, but that means somebody on the other side of the cubby hole, like if there's I assume there's one on the other side, someone could also have been hiding in there. There's a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Okay, and of course there's gonna be one on this side, too, if I could just get the damn controls to work. Oh, there isn't! Well, okay, well that kind of shoots that out. Huh. Alright. Well, I guess we'll get out of here then. I think I examined this before, but I don't see any sort of... doesn't look like any sort of hatch or anything that you could get out of. Alright, we'll just get out of here. And that's when I found her. Hold it! You say she was hiding herself. Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating into me chest. Ugh, you're really overacting this. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her. The seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time. Presumably, that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Oh, and that's when they looked down, they saw the person next to Mason, and it was that girl, apparently? Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and a gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with a scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses, so a pickpocket. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Order, order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. I'm trying to think of what the, if she, her name is a, what's the word, like a pun? Oh! Well, arg! How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Wow. Ah! The girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers and apparently a gun that shoots smoke. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they kept the four-wheeled drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Do not wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. "'Tis all right, lass. You can tell them the truth now." All right, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. All right, if I have to. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out me skin, I did. And the screen just came out. It's because of that the swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Ryunosuke's like, I'm gonna need a translator? I don't understand anything she said. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, just simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was sat that night, and the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Yes. It does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of this girl's statures. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. Oh. So, you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So, I thought, it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. Look at it, he's playing the jury too. He knows what he's doing. My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like that. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. But of course something's gonna happen to tilt it back. It's not gonna be that simple. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty. This might be the quickest, trial yet, but it's not going to be that simple. Mr. Naruhodo, well, it must mean what? That we're victorious. Oh, Susato, you sweet, innocent spring child. This is Ace Attorney, motherfucker. It's never that simple. We were able to get it on our side after seemingly a hopeless, but that just means it could sway the other way just as easily. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection.
Of course. Well. Okay. The sight of my well-heeled Wellington offends. Pray, do forgive the discourtesy. He's so dramatic and I love it. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Emotion. The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Oh, good lord. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Alright, here we go. Now we gotta try and explain this. Order. How could such a devious contrivance possibly have affected counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the oh my gosh, all these words I've never heard of before. Constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law, except I didn't catch the cubbyhole the first time I checked it. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? But I don't... Did I see it with... Maybe I did, I don't remember. Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fellow. How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks. Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? I'll say I didn't look, because it's true. Oh gosh, that's just gonna make me look incompetent, because I am. Sorry, I'm a failure. I didn't look. Why didn't I examine the omnibus more thoroughly? Perhaps I credited you with too much intelligence. It seems, my lord, that this Eastern initiate is as unreliable as wine from the barrel. Mr. Naruhodo. Susanna's like, if I'd looked at that omnibus, I would have seen something, because I'm perfect. Hehehe. Well now, it would seem the argument is moot. And the truth of the matter is there for all use to see, after all. That the cubby hole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. No, he's just a thief who rips people off. That money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Here we go. Here we go. Just as easily as it can go in our way, it can go the other way. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. Quite so. I must concur here. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Oh my gosh, I still only have 2? Man, this game is rough. They don't, even after, you know, like, proceeding into the next part of the trial, I don't get my things back. That kind of sucks. Alright, so you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run. At least I know this time, especially with just her and him on the stand. If he reacts to something, it's gonna be pretty easy to spot. I've learned my lesson with that. Well, yeah, I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's the rum idea, isn't it? I am going to need some translation. I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And one little scapegrace riding for free. I'm learning some words from this game. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before its last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram into a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue. So, going on to why McGilded didn't notice all the stuff on the floor, I guess?
Hold it!
Right, a waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own. The God permit at least some of the time. I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit? Oh, yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin. Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. I'll tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out of the cabin at all. Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Then I could have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I got under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place I'd in them carriages, so it's Opson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. After a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did, and the scream just came out.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Oh, maybe it was a gunshot. Maybe. Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And he let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke, what had fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilded's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. It's because of that the swell found me. He did help me get away. Oh, that's it. Oh, shoot, I forgot to press the last statement. Ah! All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear they are all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among that new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Oh, I wish I knew what he was talking about, because I'm not quite sure. Okay, we're going to go ahead, and we're going to go to the last statement.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. I was scared stiff I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. Oh, how awful. Both me and him got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name, and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." Okay, so that didn't really give me much to work with. Alright, well, I'll just do it again, I guess. I'll go through it again and... Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Okay, hold up. That didn't happen before.
Excuse me.
Wait, and the clink, does that imply, like, has he gone to jail as well? Or what's going on with that? Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Huh. Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up on the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. Maybe he was one of those urchins when he was a kid, too. Maybe that's why he felt a little bit of, like, he felt sorry for her, because maybe he did the same thing. I'm so scared of the dark now. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Oh, is he, like, insinuating that there's something that she should have heard that she's not saying? Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Betrayers! There's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. What should we make of that last statement of hers? Okay. I'm sorry, I have to pick the correct choice. I'm assuming this is the correct choice, because I've only got 2 more, like, chances before it's game over. But maybe, okay, I'll save first, and then I'll pick the wrong answer. Alright, so I'll say it's insignificant. Well, I don't think we can draw any particular conclusions from that. Very well, if that is the position of the defense. And then Susato's gonna come and be like, you idiot. You idiot. What's the matter, Miss Susato? Well, I don't know. Is that really true, do you think? Like, just make her... If it wasn't for the fact she's a woman, she would be the defense right now. She would be the lawyer. It must be, surely. She said she didn't hear anything. Perhaps that's precisely the point. Could that be important in and of itself? The fact that she heard nothing. Alright, so there we go. Let's go to the actual correct answer. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Council. Nevertheless. Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What do you want about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to say. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. Alright, I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring. I'm trying to think if there was something she should have heard. But I can't think of anything. So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself. Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw the swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGilded sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. Would you Adam and Eve it? Eh? What a mug. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But, would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his bigs to the market. Oh! Yeah, there we go. That's in the fact she didn't hear the door open again. Despite the fact that Mason should have gotten on. There we go. That's the thing. That's the thing. Mr. McGilded knows it. He knew something was off about that. Are there any conclusions we can draw? I'll say it doesn't add up. Miss Lestrade, what you've just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Oh. At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I had feared. So Van Zieks realized it too. Counsel, I must insist you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think. There's something else she should have heard. Oh. Oh, piece of evidence? Show a forget it. I'm gonna put the forget it one and see what happens. I just can't seem to think this through. Sorry, my lord. I need to withdraw the allegation for now. What you need, counsel, is to withdraw forever. Ugh. So be it. Continue with the cross-examination. Oh, that wasn't much. Alright, let's go back and let's load up again. I was waiting for Susato to get a little angry at me, to be like, what are you doing? Okay, so let's, before I get into it, I wonder, do I do the omnibus itself? The fact that it says there were people inside the carriage? Okay. Oh, yeah, Derp, right? Mason. Yeah. That's who I should, yeah. Derp, of course. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
There I go overthinking it. I literally said, it's like, it's because Mason was in there. And I'm just like, should I present the bus as the thing? It's like, no, Derp. Thrice fired Mason. Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Order, order! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person aboard the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. That it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And, from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? Waiting for the swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Oh. We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeek's. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. And this girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. She's ready to go. Hell, Granny's ready. Oh my gosh, I love her. Ugh, she didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. Neither can I. Uh-oh. Mr. Foreman. I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. And just like that... It's alright, we just gotta turn it back around. Miss Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. Arg. Gah, what are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern atom? Hey, hey, hey! This is carnage. It's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know, if we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Oh man, is there a way I can play the jurors again? Hopefully? Uh-oh.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? Counsel! I'm sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my education. Explain yourself at once. He's like, I didn't get that far. I just wanted to stop her from voting. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet, the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Oh no. We're gonna save right here because I could fuck up. All right, so let's look at the actual. He was already in there. There's another entrance. That is what I've been saying this whole time. He's put there after he died. I'm saying there's another entrance. Okay, that seems to be the correct choice. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wonder what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. I gotta pick out, only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? Okay, so they're saying for sure there's no other possible places, there's no hidden compartments, the windows can't open, doesn't seem like there's a door. There's a ladder. Oh, there's the skylight. The skylight! Let's hope this is correct.
Take that!
Yeah, there we go. The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say, the skylight? Yeah, because you wouldn't be able to hear...
Objection!
I don't think she would have heard people going up to the top of the bus. Your ludicrous proposal almost has me at loss for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? We're gonna get to that part. Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the— Oh! That was someone coming down. Oh, shit. Oh boy, oh boy. So that was him coming down from the skylight. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained, as the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with a dagger. Yes, it has, but... Oh shit, they're saying Oh shit. They're saying that he was killed up at the top. He was killed from the roof. And his body was thrown down from the skylight. So it was somebody that was at the top. Shit. Would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witness described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. That's right, if someone just fell from the seat to the floor, it wouldn't make that big of a... But someone falling from the top of the bus to the floor. Oh, shit. So now we gotta get the witnesses from the rooftop back, and I'm wondering if it's the guy... what's his face? The banker. Because if the banker knew that McGilded was there, all he'd have to do is, like... So... I don't know, maybe. Like, maybe he killed Mason to frame McGilded so he wouldn't have to pay his debt. Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it. somebody killed him from the rooftop, from the top of the bus. That means that the other witnesses who were at the top there, are they all in cahoots? Are they all lying? You're now suggesting the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside the skylight, as you say, the passenger on the roof deck would have seen it happen. Or the passengers. Maybe it was a joint effort. Maybe they conspired together. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Is he straight up saying that they're behind it? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chops on the roof? So, the baker, he's got a reason, but I wonder if the hat maker, I don't think he was in the book as owing any money, but I'm wondering. You mean the one who stuck the knife in the man were... Ah! Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating? This is a flaming outrage. I've a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay, you're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman, a well-respected banker, and me, a very angry hatter, a mad hatter, you'd say, suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... Arrgh! I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too, about you rotten scoundrel. No, we've got a full lineup of people here we're gonna have to testify, or we're gonna have to cross-examine. Order, this is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to the court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, this is what is termed as a baseless accusation. I knew I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to, testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fella. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. There's filth and rubbish in our midst, and we must dispose of it at once. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Right, we were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that. If anything had happened while where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? I did say before about Bruce potentially like killing Mason and pinning it on McGilded, but if he didn't actually see McGilded, if he didn't know he was in the cabin, that wouldn't make any sense, and he's out of sight, so maybe that's not quite the case. I must say that listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. No either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with each other. What? Eh? According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Ha! Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Oh no! Do we have another case of a Ace Attorney thing where our person we're defending is actually guilty? Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. So in no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck. Absolutely not. Dickon. No question about it, he said. None at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin, talking with this man here. Is this true, Mr. McGilded? No, you didn't even see him at all. Unless he switched sides at some point. Dear me, my lord, the risk of repeating myself. I boarded the omnibus alone, and nodded off inside almost immediately. That's an outright lie. Without a doubt, you were engaged in... Let me stop you there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? At all? Ah. 'Tis all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. I saw you with my own eyes. Now I'm putting a quasi Irish accent on all of them. This is going so well. Not an accent. I can't do accents, but an inflection. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of a lark? Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly. Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, 'twas a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising. Seeing things. I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. Ah, you. Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, then 'tis only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. Alright, in either case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. Okay, so I know that he would have a reason to kill McGilded, but yeah, I don't know about Mason, but... So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before. Did he get fired from, like, if he's thrice fired? Like, implying that he's been fired? Like, is that where he got the name from? Has he been fired 3 times? Did he get fired from, like, a bank and also from, like, what this guy makes hats? Oh, Loom? No, not once, never. He never met the man before, he said. Never. What about you? Yeah, and you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. You see? How many different ways can I put this? Neither of us had the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were inside the cabin. Oh, over here. No, over here. Ah. There we go.
Excuse me.
I'm glad they make it obvious in this game when that happens. Mr. McGilded? Yes, counsel. What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. Test's been too long, so it has. Eh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon? Yeah, we've already been over this. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well, now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another. And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, it's a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Oh! That's the hat that the Hatter was making. Or, not the Hatter, the Mason. He was wearing that hat, wasn't he? Because it was very droopy. Customers. Such as Thrice-Fired Mason. Oh. There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence afore, my lord. Oh, this you mean. I can't help taking the poor fellow's hat looks distinctively familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Hee hee, aye, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. The sort of customer, I'd wager, you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Geez, what does McGilded even need me here for? He's doing all the work for me. Well, there's nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. He's better at this than I am. I was just thinking that. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? There's something about this guy. I wonder if he's as innocent as he seems to, to claim. Maybe he's pulling a fast one on all of us because he sees a smooth talker. I'll give him that. Please, don't let my little interruption hold up the proceedings. Alright, the skylight was shut the entire time. We couldn't possibly have opened it. Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. No, there looks like a little, like a hatch or something there. You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on that night. Now, I see a little something there. So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it, still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the ting, you understand. Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the ting means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you for excessive flatulence? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside the cabinet chamber. Oh! Oh, seems the little pickpocket might know something about that. Right. I always forget how to...
Excuse me.
There we go. Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade. It opens. Hmm? The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right? All them skylights open. Dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon? That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from the inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out my ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be... See, this is the time where, like, you could actually sentence her for something here. To be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't op the bus and leg it. So, what I did was, I used the skylight, opened the catch, and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open it from the cabin. I saw that it was the, yeah, that little mechanism. The skylight opens from the roof deck. Bailiff. Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify the witness's claims. Oh, my hat! See? Order, order, order! So, it appears the street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo! This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Oh, yes, my lord. So, the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Alright, well let me go ahead and I'll finish the cross-examination first. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? Oh, maybe actually. In that case, maybe I should... Oh, I can't do anything right now anyway. It won't let me check. Alright, so I'll just, I'll press it, but it looks like I can't go into the court record right now. Proof. That's right. I demand to hear it. We came here to say what we saw, I tell you. Not for this. But you can call us both shysters, brand us as criminals. You call us liars, that's what he means, and accuse us of doing it. As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that incriminates yourselves now, is there? I believe we're in much the same position as one another here. Ah! If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth. I wonder if these two men really were involved in some way. I couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Alright, it will let me check the court record, so let's see if I can go right now and check out the omnibus. Alright, see if it'll let me do the slidey hatch. Or latch. I keep saying hatch, it's a latch. Alright, so the skylight was fastened shut before, but now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. Okay, so let's see if we can go into some more. Alright, you can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. Is that it? Right, so this is the roof deck of the omnibus. We must have a wonderful... Okay, I think I've... So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them. And they have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as punishment? Perhaps that's the real price you pay to stay out late. Can we maybe go into more detail of, like, if something happened up here, we get a better look at the benches, maybe? This is... Okay, now it's the same thing. Maybe this bench? Oh, same thing. Okay, well, I don't know. There's not really much else I can see here. Alright, well, I'll just back out for now, I guess. The same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. It's so hard to know what to believe here. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. So you're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead to... It allows me to present something, but I don't know if I've got conclusive... I can't go into my actual... Okay, so I can go into here. I'm just like, what am I missing? Like, I need decisive evidence, so we already know the skylight can open. I'm just trying to see, is there a way for me to, like, can I zoom in? Oh, wait. Wait a minute, is that... Hold up, is that blood? Oh, wait. No, don't look at the... Guys, I'm pretty sure that's blood there. Right there. How do I pick that? That's decisive evidence. I'm pretty sure I found it, but they just keep talking about the roof of the omnibus. Oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy. Like, I can see there's something right here. Yeah, like, that's totally blood, but I don't know how to pick it. Okay, is there a way for me to, like, close it back up again? This is driving me crazy. Okay, maybe... Hold on. Maybe I need to go inside the omnibus? What am I doing here? What am I doing? Okay, go into the omnibus. Alright, maybe from this angle. I can definitely tell. Yep, that's definitely blood. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Guys, please focus on what I'm seeing. Wide enough to kick someone you like through, certainly. Or someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? Oh. Finally, someone noticed it. What is it? Look, just here. And of course it was Susato who saw it. Look at this. That's, without question, it's blood. Why would there be a bloodstain there? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Or they do a terrible job at cleaning the cabins after use. Finally! Okay. There we go. That's our decisive evidence. Alright, let's get out of here. Okay, so we're gonna skip ahead to... I think this right here. There we go. Where's your proof? Well, about that. About that, sir.
Objection.
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight in the cabin below. So it must have been cleaned up after, because we didn't see any blood on, like, any top. So I wonder if maybe the driver's in on it too, or if, like, these guys just quickly cleaned it up. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. It's like, really? The London Scotland Yard did a thorough examination and they missed that blood? What? That's utter humbug, especially if you can't open the skylight from the inside. It would make no sense for that to be McGilded. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof? Here, in this courtroom? Counsel. My lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. Oh, shoot. Ah, sorry. I meant to do R, not E. Let's try that again.
Got it.
By Jupiter, is that blood? Arg. This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. I love when that happens. That happens, like, to me too sometimes, where it seems like my, supposedly, you know, proof that this person must be guilty gets turned around and be like, no, this actually proves that it couldn't possibly be the person. I love that. No! Order, order, order! But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight? Sure, that would be very convenient. And let's keep in mind the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But... There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? 'Tis all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height right there, so it is. What? No. But it can't be. It's all... lies! My fellow... Jeez, let's try that again. My fellow jury members. I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence. I can't talk. I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing. On 3 then, everyone. Oh, we did it! 1, 2, unless they're gonna pull out something else, but I think this is it. 3.
Objection!
Of course. Of course. A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks? A blood stain on the frame of the skylight? Such evidence is null and void. What? What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What? Wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Was that when... oh shit, is he saying when the smoke bomb off? It wasn't the girl trying to escape. Did she... Because she knew that the latch opened. Did she take some of the blood and open up the skylight and smear it on that section to make Mr. McGilded look innocent? Are they in cahoots? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation. I was thinking that. I said that. I was like, how did they miss that? The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So, I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. That's exactly what happened. The girl set off the smoke bomb. They put the blood there. But, damn it! Are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes, and while this court has been in session. What? Hehehe, what a palaver. I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your stand-in, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. Ooh. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut-tut, Lord Van Zeeks, this will not do to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no, I think I do. I think we might have someone who actually might be guilty of something, and I'm... Uh-oh. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. And I know, as Ryunosuke, or like Phoenix, or any of them, we've done that a lot of times, as being far-fetched and grasping at straws. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say. But, if you will all cast your minds back, is it not true the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly put a smear of blood on it without the world and his wife seeing? Oh, it's sad. I think I know. I'm pretty sure I know when that happened. Isn't that right now, counsel? It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session. My learned friend. Oh, I think I'm defending a guilty person. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think. Oh no. Okay, let's save first. I'm gonna be honest, I'll say it could have been possible. I'm sorry. I uphold the truth. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh, good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yeah, McGilded is not going to be too happy about this. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Well, at least I've got his respect a little bit. Deceit. I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Is Lestrade, maybe is that a pun of like led astray? Like she's leading us astray of the truth? Alright, bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave the chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. McGill is going to be like, do you not understand what a defense lawyer means? Are you wise? Yeah, he mad. He big mad. What are you trying to pull, you rotten feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies, such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. Oh yeah, that's right, we touched on that briefly. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I've said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Oh my gosh, could it be that him and that girl were working together the whole time? She never actually hid, they just concocted their story. They put that story together to make it seem like neither of them could possibly have done it? I don't know. Man, here I am, like, doubting my, my clients. Unfortunately, Lord Van Seeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say, we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? We might end up with another, like, they might be a hung jury. It might be a thing where it's like, we can't prove that those two guys killed Mason, but they also might not be able to verify that McGilded is guilty about the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? Oh boy, do I have an inkling? I don't know. Okay, so there's the skylight. There's... I'm trying to think what else there could be. I don't know. I'm gonna say I have no idea because I don't. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm honest, I don't remember what I examined when in the omnibus. I can't verify this either way. Susato, please help, because you know everything. My lord, at this moment in time, the defense... Yes, Susato! She's like, fine. Look at her, she literally is stepping in, she's like, you're an idiot, I can't believe you are the protagonist of this game. can point out one other inconsistency. Thank you, Susato. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? Miss Susato, what are you doing? She's like, I'm doing your job, bitch. I examined the omnibus with you, don't forget. And unlike you, I remember stuff. There's something that seems out of place, compared to how the carriage looked originally. That's what we need to identify now. What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'd better start watching your back.
Objection.
Silence, McGilded. Courtroom awaits the defense's clarification. Okay, let me check things out really quick. Let's take a look and see if there's anything. Oh, I don't think there's anything. Don't think. Oh yeah, there's that whole thing I said too about there's a missing button. That hasn't come up yet, has it? Okay, nothing really there. The gloves? I don't think so. Alright, well, let's just we'll continue on. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Please, Susato, please help me. Where exactly is this alleged mark you claim appeared at some point during the trial? Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. I don't think that bloodstain was on the floor, was it? There was definitely the stain here. I don't think there was one on the floor. Oh, it's tough, man, when you only do like one episode a week to remember shit. I'm gonna save first, but I think that's it. Oh, it's not gonna let me save. Okay, I have to hope this is correct.
Got it.
Oh, thank goodness. If we consider the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. It's weird that Zeke's is waited until like right now to bring it up. Maybe he was waiting for me to say something. Good lord. Yeah, it certainly seems like that girl and him are fabricating a story. I believe you're correct, counsel. Man, Zeke's is like, catch up, guys. Like, how did you not notice this? Well said. Although, as an advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. That wasn't a slip of the tongue. That was me just being like, hey, I'm seeking the truth. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit there's at least a possibility the evidence is fake. They're like, you're really bad at your job. Ah! Oh, are we gonna see the true McGilded come out? This trial is over. What? Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell you. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, 'tis all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there, now. Well, and over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zeke's. Well, my lord? I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. And in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say it would be improper for this trial to continue. Wow, straight up! Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? Wow, is the judge in McGilded's pocket too? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Holy shit, so he's just gonna get off based on just like... Wow. Well, very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. Oh no, do I have a choice to say something? What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is this really the right outcome here? This is happening every time with this game. Every time, like, we quote-unquote win, I don't feel great about it afterwards. This one's the worst, because I'm like, I think we might let a guilty man walk free. Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now? With all these unexplained inconsistencies? At least the other ones we got, like, conclusive, like, this is what happens, you know? We know exactly what happened. There's so many questions. Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. Something tells me even though he'll be found not guilty, we're not going to get paid all that money McGilded promised us, because he'd be like, yeah, you were like trying to prove me guilty. The defense believes. Oh, shit. Okay, save. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defense's innocence. What are you saying, man? Oh man, he's not someone I feel like I want to make an enemy. Maybe I should have said he was innocent. Without any question, there's no conclusive evidence to prove the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me! Order! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused innocent into question? Are you of sound mind? Hehehehe. Wahahaha. Oh, 'twas a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Your job here's done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? 'Tis just as the right honorable gentleman so succinctly put it afore. The trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Not more than a formality. Yeah, that's the laugh of an innocent man. I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinking rich are always guilty of something. You mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us that lovely park. Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I almost feel like this whole thing was just a big farce. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court. But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zeeks, my lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, The prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection.
But, wait! When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured. Look at me, I'm actually... Maybe we'll be buddies. Maybe it'll be like the prosecution defense teaming up together. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. If we had had Sholmes with us, this wouldn't have happened. That's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to pre-offer judgment. What? I feel like the judge is in on this. I feel like this was all just, like, curtain dressing. Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try and change the law. I bet that's probably what Kazuma's whole point of coming here was to change the law. Because he saw that something wasn't right. Magnus McGilded. Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. Well, something to look forward to then. Wahahaha. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty. This feels so wrong. Even the confetti seems like not quite. Oh, well, I mean, okay, there's also fireworks. So I'm like, somehow the confetti doesn't feel as joyous as it usually does. I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. With a courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostentatiously a victory for us. That certainly was a long trial. Ah, yes, it was. Your first ever trial in foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. Even Susato's like, yeah, there's something off about this. She's not too happy. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Miss Susato, thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGilded. And that girl is with him, too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure yous must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. This is awkward. I'd heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And I've you to take, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. Oh, you're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Ah, 'tis water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. but nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now, the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters into hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I've absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed aforehand, 1,000 guineas for your trouble, fella. Wow, he's actually gonna... Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Arra, be whist. You're a humble people, are ya, you from the east? Well, if you insist. But have this, still and all. You deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir, if you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? Yeah, there is totally something going on. What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not too inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again? Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But, as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing me best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Don't move. Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry? And I hate all grown-ups. Ah, there you are. Wait, what? We're just getting a whole bunch of new characters. Naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha. Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing into a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. A what's it? What? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course, silly. To my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then. Follow me. Fine. Have it your way. Oh, good. You see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. I'm fairly sure that what she wants is to not get shot by that massive gun. Well, we'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. Okay. She was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right, but... where to? Oh, we haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings. But at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, oh, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warp room. Or a mansion. Yeah, like, I get it, Ryunosuke, you have, you know, morals and stuff, but, oh, that's a lot of money to turn down. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, because of course, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over. Bum bum bum. Ooh. Ooh, what's this? Oh shit! Well.
How did this happen? I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
Well.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating.
Oh my gosh, there's someone inside? What?
No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
What the hell? What if it's McGilded in there?
This can't be.
Huh. Wasn't expecting that. Alright, so that will do it for the end of Case 3, ending on an interesting conclusion. Turns out that the person we were defending may not have been as innocent as we thought. And I love those cases. I love when it kind of like makes you think morally about what it means to defend someone and, you know, seeking the truth and all that. And that shot at the end of someone potentially being in the omnibus, whether that was McGilded or somebody else. I don't know, but that was a pretty good case. I liked the introduction of the jury system and everything, and of course had the twists and turns. Once again, ending on a little bit of like not feeling very great about it in this case because we don't actually know the full truth of it. But as it said at the end, this case is far from over, and hopefully we will find out the truth of it, but that will have to wait for another day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Nana, Sparky, Dumbass Loser, Tequila Mockingbird, Puncake G, Derek Nickel, Harry Gazif, Asborn Kennedy, and Icognito.